If you think that remote jobs only exist for software engineers or coders and they would not pay you well if you're not one of those coder people, then you'll probably get a lot from this video. I'm going to change your mind by sharing lots of job roles today that pay you really well, that are going to be booming from 2026 onwards, and that do not require any coding skills, and also on the top of it, no degree or no MBA etc. needed as well. For the past few years, I have worked completely remotely as a remote employee and also as a freelancer. The first I'm going to begin with is one of my favorite roles, which I feel is not going to fade away even with AI, is the data analyst role. And why I'm picking this is because it is industry agnostic. Be it in any industry, be it IT SaaS, be it fintech, be it edtech, this role is going to be needed in most kinds of companies. And most of it is non-coding role. So mostly what you do is you work with Excel, you work with Power BI and Tableau to analyze the data and make business sense out of it. And how to begin in this role is that try and start with Excel and Power BI. Don't complicate too much and start directly with Python or with really complicated visualization tools. Just begin something super simple, a clear data set and a clear visualization tool that you could begin with, and try to create some samples of work, and then you can apply at associate levels. The second one is going to be project coordinator or operations executive role. Why I'm clubbing these two is that the reason is that the responsibilities overlap a lot and they are very transferable to each other's roles as well. I think this is one of the very underrated roles, honestly, because you think that it is only going to be about execution, or you're going to just become like an HR. No, it's not that. It's actually about how you manage people, how you update documentation, keep centralized documentation as well, manage critical timelines, manage critical resources. And most of the industries would need this role as well, be it marketing agencies, be it tech, be it consulting, be it NGOs even. All of these different types of companies and industries would need this role. Now, how to begin with this? Only go for this if you feel you have a very organized mind and if you like to keep things organized around you as well. So what you could do is you could pick and learn one tool out of these properly. Could be ClickUp, could be Asana, could be Monday or Notion. Pick any of these to begin with, and if you want to get deeper into IT project management only, then you could go for Jira as well. But to begin with, one of these tools is good enough, and just pick and try to create some sample projects in one of these. Another industry agnostic role that I want to talk about is automation QA analyst. Now again, this one is not going to be just testing manually. It is going to be actually making sure that the product passes the quality check. So you take a lead and you become like an owner for the quality assurance eventually. In the no-code, low-code tracks, what you could do is you can design the test flows and also the visual tools. You think logic, you think the scenarios, you think what kind of setups the product should be tested in. For example, the browsers or the devices, etc. And then you put that product to test. So you make sure that you operate it all as well before going live. What are the steps to be followed? How can I automate all of this part, etc. Eventually, if you like coding, then you can add coding to this and upskill and ask for even higher salaries. But if you want to start with this role, start with manual QA to begin with and learn tools like Selenium, etc. Let's get to the next section in which I'll be covering more industry specific roles. So now if you're into finance, or if you want to get into finance, you could pick one of these roles. I'm going to talk about two very popular roles that I personally really like are payments operations analyst, or also risk or fraud operations specialist. These are very trending roles. These are remote friendly as well, and very easy to get into these if you know the right ways and the right tools and skill set. So here in this case, what you do is you need to learn how to manage transactions. So along with finance, a little bit of banking knowledge is also needed. You need to understand how chargebacks work, how failed payments work and how they are flagged, etc. as well, how the compliance issues are resolved, what is their life cycle, and also fraud patterns. So if you are able to work into this kind of a role in which you're able to analyze from the data and flag it and then assist your company in recovering that fraud debt, etc., then you become a very valuable asset to your company. The good part about this is that you do not need a finance degree or anything, but why it pays you a lot is the con part, I would say, is that it is very analytical, it is very detail heavy, and it carries a lot of work pressure as well, because you are responsible for each and every data point here. So it is a high pressure role, and that's why it pays you more as well. So if you're somebody who would enjoy numbers, who would enjoy the pressure that comes with it, and you want to stay around where money is managed, these two roles could be great for you. Now coming to something into healthcare. So if you come from healthcare background already, you are already way ahead of other people. But if you don't, you can still get into these. You might have a little bit of disadvantage here by not knowing how the healthcare systems work. But again, you can learn that from the ecosystem. So now the roles that I recommend here are clinical operations coordinator. This is a very clinical role. This one I'd recommend only for those who have been into the healthcare industry. Then the one that I like more for non-clinical role is the EHR integration specialist. This is again a non-coding role, a non-tech heavy role, but at the same time it exists in tech companies and even at the clinical level, so you can go for this one as well. And finally, the third one that I really like, that I have personally worked on one of the projects recently for the Indian government, is the health interoperability specialist role. Now what you do here in this certain in this certain type of industry and these types of roles is that you will be managing of course the workflows, the entire patient workflow from admission to the discharge, etc. as well. Then you will be working on the documentation part, which is very critical when it comes to healthcare. It is everything. And then also the data movement between the systems, what I mean is patients, doctors, or the facilities that we call them, and also the insurers as well. So all of these different types of stakeholders that we have, different types of data that moves between these different stakeholders, is something that you will be responsible for. So you work with standards like FHIR and HL7, which are almost like, I would say, at global level now they are becoming very, very popular, but at least in some countries there is a very set standard that you just need to follow. So all you need to do is get some small course or small certification done in any of the EHRs to begin with, or even if it is at the compliance level. For example, if you end up working with US healthcare, then it could be HIPAA compliance that you should be doing a course in or something, and similar for other regions as well. Then that becomes more region specific. But at a broader level, at least these kind of skills that I'm talking about, learning about HL7, learning about FHIR, learning about how the whole patient life cycle works, this is going to give you a great edge over the other people who are applying in the same industry. The next one that I really enjoy as an industry, but I've not personally worked in this role, but I know that there is a great demand because I'm going to show you some openings right now, is the Web3 community operations role. So Web3, how it works, it is a community first industry. It cannot function without community. So there is no owner of the platform, there is no stakeholder that has the entire authority. The owner and the contributor and the consumer, everything are people, right? All of them are community members. So community is everything for Web3. That's why there are so many roles in Web3 community apart from tech. So even if you do not know anything how to create Web3 apps, etc., which is completely fine, even if you are enthusiastic about this community, about this industry, you can go for community roles and operations roles in this. Now the skills that you need to get started with, what all you need to learn and how you need to portray yourself is going to matter a lot when you apply for these jobs. You have to show a community first approach in which you tell them how you will grow, engage, and also retain community members. So for example, communities can be on Discord, on Telegram, on all of these different platforms, social media as well, but also in-person communities, right? Any meetups, any webinars that are done, all of that ideation eventually should come from you. But to begin with, you should know how to do the moderation, like the basic moderation within a community, how to follow the rules, ethics, etc. And then how to keep it very engaging as well, so that all of the team members, community members, they always stay participative there. And then also I think running campaigns, any marketing campaigns, PR campaigns that you could run within a community, that would also be so good to know and so good to learn. So if maybe in your college, if you've done any community work, that is also a great leverage that you already have. So show that in your future applications. The next one is related to sustainability, and I'd say maybe in South Asian or even in Southeast Asian countries, this is not a very popular industry, because it's, I would say, still a very first world countries industry, in the sense that I think Asian countries or developing countries have bigger problems to solve. So the developed countries, they are crazy about sustainability these days. So one great role that comes along with that is ESG reporting analyst. This is a very well paid, this can be done completely online, and a lot of companies and different types of businesses from B2C to B2B and even B2G also need these kind of people. So what you need to do, what you will be doing on a daily basis would be that you'll be creating metrics, right? You'll be preparing reports for the different types of businesses that you are reviewing, and then you also have to stay up to date with the compliances and regulatories. So you have to make sure that you match those as well. So this role is a spreadsheet heavy role, just to make sure that you understand that and you enjoy doing that, only proceed in that case. And then also why it pays well, because regulation is in demand. You have to follow it. If there's some rule coming from, let's say, the EU government, then the businesses and governments and the even small companies are forced to follow it. So they'll need somebody who's able to review it, who's able to analyze it and tell them the solution as well. So you could be that person. So what you do, how you can begin with, is just learn very basic ESG frameworks and reporting logic. Reporting logic would be same as any analyst role, but ESG frameworks is something that is very industry specific, so make sure that you start with that first. The next one I'm going to cover is related to real estate. I feel this is also a very I think undeserving category that does not get enough attention, but of course we all know, we all put money in real estate. It is our dream to put our money in real estate, but this industry also has a lot of remote roles. Now the roles that I personally like, and I have friends working in these, are property manager role and also the portfolio operations manager role. Both these roles can be done completely online, and all you need to do is you just need to manage tenants, you need to manage the owners, the documentation, the compliances, the legal ownership and transfers and contracts, etc. You just have to make sure that you have proper system knowledge for this, and it is one of the most stable non-coding career paths, because this industry is not going anywhere. So be it any region, be it any geography, this industry is going to stick around and it's going to pay simple and well. So this is something that you could go forward with. And how you could begin with this is you could work for real estate agents as a VA or in their office as an office manager, etc., and start with those roles, so that you try to understand the process, you try to understand the industry, and then go in full time. And if you're a beginner watching this video and you were directionless, you are still directionless where to start, I'm going to give you a very quick step-by-step checklist for you to make sure that you are moving in a certain path for any of these roles once you've picked them. So make sure that you pick one role to begin with. Make sure that you learn the basic tools. Most of the tools are free to begin with, and you'll find assignments online that you can just try, or ask ChatGPT to create an assignment for you. Or you can even learn these tools from YouTube videos, which are also completely free. So I don't recommend going for courses or certifications in the first go, unless you feel like you are not able to do it all by yourself. And then next is try to understand the workflow in the entire industry, how it works. Like I talked about finance, I talked about sustainability, I talked about healthcare, etc. as well. So how do these systems overall work? Try to understand that as an ecosystem, as an industry. And then finally, try to create one sample project. Could be something hypothetical completely. Ask ChatGPT to give you an assignment so that you can show it to your next employers. This sample of work is something that's going to take you forward and make sure that you get selected and not the others. Even if you do not have much experience, this shows that you have that mindset and you actually want to go forward with this role. If you found this video useful, make sure that you like this video and also subscribe to the channel, because I've already talked a lot about freelancing roles. You can watch my other videos as well. And also I'm going to talk a lot in depth about these certain roles that I feel I get a lot of comments about. So make sure that you ask me in the comments what really felt like close to your heart and you want to begin with, but you don't know where to start. I'll make sure that I help you.